Before we can actually start writing Swift code and building apps, we need the tool to do it, and that's Xcode. Xcode is a IDE, or Integrated Development Environment, which basically just means it's a software program for you to write your code. And Xcode is Apple's first-party IDE that allows you to write code for Apple's platforms, right? iOS, macOS, watchOS, etc. And the great thing about this being Apple's first-party program is that it's updated constantly. The typical release cycle, like for example, we're on Xcode 11 right now in March of 2020. But every June, the next Xcode gets announced. So Xcode 12 will get announced at WWDC this year and will be officially released, in the fall. But again, it does get updated periodically throughout the year with like Xcode 11.1, 11.2, and so forth. And here on the screen is just what Xcode looks like in a typical project. The project we're looking at right now is the code for my take-home course, and I usually have 2 files of code side by side. And if this looks a little small, that's because usually when I do a tutorial or a course, I have my font and my screen resolution blown up so it's easier for you to see. But typically when I code, it is pretty small like this. So now that you have the general idea of what Xcode even is, let's talk about downloading it. First and foremost, you're going to need a Mac. Whether that's a MacBook or an iMac, you're going to need one of those because Xcode is meant to run on Mac OS. Now, of course, with anything with computing, there are hacky ways to get it to run on a PC, but that's not recommended. To download Xcode on your Mac, go ahead and open up the App Store. Now, down in the lower left, you should see your name, hopefully. That's if you already have an Apple ID. Now again, if you already have an iPhone and a Mac, you probably have set up your Apple ID a long time ago, but just in case you haven't, go ahead and click sign in and you have to create your own Apple ID there. If you're already signed in, you're good to go. In the upper left here, type in Xcode into the search and you'll see it pop up. Click on Xcode to open up the detail page to, see a little bit more about it. Now, as you can see down here, it is 7.8 gigabytes download. So it is a very large file. So make sure you have enough space for it. And make sure you got about a half hour to download it, depending on your download speeds. After it's finished downloading, you should see it in your applications folder. Go ahead and double click on it to open it up and you'll see this quick little menu screen. Now, as you can see, there's 2 paths we can take. We can create a new project or create a new playground. We'll start with a project. So opening up a project is a full-fledged, app, whether that's an iPhone app, macOS app, watch app, whatever. That's a full-blown app. Now, however, you may we just want to play around in some code. As a matter of fact, that's what we're going to do in much of the first half of this course when I'm just explaining the basics. That's where you would open up a playground. Playground's aptly named, right? It's for you to just go in there and play around for a little bit. Think of it as kind of like a scratch pad for your code if you just want to try something out. But it can go above and beyond that. Like you can even prototype UI in a playground, and then once you got the UI tweaked the way you want it, you can just copy and paste that code into your project. So playgrounds are insanely valuable. So like I said, in this course, we're going to start with playgrounds, but once we start building apps later on, we are going to shift into projects where Xcode gets a little more complicated. And don't worry, when that time comes, I have some separate videos giving a tour of Xcode, how to use it. We'll dive into more detail on Xcode then, but I don't want to teach it to you now and have you forget it by the time we actually use it. So we'll push that off till later. But there's one thing I want to show you right now because it will affect the playground is your Xcode theme. Many of you that just opened up Xcode for the first time, you're looking at my Xcode, which has a black background, bright colors. Yours may have a white background, and you're like, wait a minute, how do I customize that? How do I get my Xcode to look like yours? Let me show you. So back in the main Xcode menu, go ahead and hit create a new Xcode project. Now see, you'll get a bunch of options here, right? watchOS, tvOS, etc. Just open up iOS. This is just a test app. We're not really getting into it. You can call it test. We're going to delete this later. You can fill out the rest of this based on my information that I have here. Make sure you have Swift selected and storyboard selected, not Swift UI. More on that later. Again, I'm skimming over this because we're just opening up a quick test project. We will go more in depth later on in the course. So hit next and then save it to wherever you like. I'm going to save it to my desktop. We'll replace it. I already have a test one because I do this a lot. Maybe you don't. So what I want to show you here again is Xcode and then preferences. So actually, let me get some code up here. Let me go to View Controller to get some code on the screen, and then Xcode, Preferences. And you see here, I already have it selected, fonts and colors. If you don't, that's where you want to go. And then you can see this theme here on the left. You probably have it on basic, which is a blinding white, like only psychopaths use light mode, like use dark mode. Jokes, of course. But you can see a bunch of different themes, like Civic. I'm just going to, page down through these so you can see all the different themes you can choose. So pick whichever one you like. Again, I was joking. Maybe you do like the light background. Maybe you like this yellow background. But I choose midnight. And then once you choose your theme, you can actually pick each individual aspect of that theme and customize that even further, down to the font and the color. For example, this comments by default is this same green that you see here. I like my comments, as you can see over here on the left, I like my comments to kind of fade into the background. I don't like them to be, overbearing, because I like my code to actually pop, just my personal preference. So what I did was I clicked on comments, and then you can click next to the font here. You can see the color wheel will pop up, and then you can pick whatever color you want. So keep an eye on my comments here in the upper left. Like, look, I have them blue. We'll have it dark. Right? They can be blue, they can be green, yellow, red. You can make it whatever you want. Again, I like them to just be gray so they fade into the background and not be too overbearing. So again, if you want to play with your theme to get it to look right or look like mine, this is how it's done. Have a ball, customize it the way you like, but this will affect your playgrounds that we'll get into in the next videos.